session. I have questions coming
present,
already.
sir.
Questions. You guys, you need to stay back and listen to this because these are things, these are questions you can easily relate with. We break things down. See, some things are very simple, but if you don't explain it to you, so that's what it's for. Yeah.
Present, sir, but you're calling. Hello, present. I'm here, but you're calling my surname reminded me of when I was still in secondary school. So the name Eke Ade is not. My name is not Eke Ade. Eke means Biboro, like somebody that it means snitch. So I'm not a snitch. So the right pronunciation is Eke Ade, like to pet the crown. Eke Ade, not snitch the crown. Pet the crown.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we have Ade. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is next.
Good evening. I'm fine.
Hey, hello, Ariola.
Yeah, I'm very fine.
We're really happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Every minute.
Okay, how about Stanley? Is Stanley around?
Yes, I'm on, I guess.
Hey. Okay, hello, Stanley.
Good to have you guys.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, are you stuck in traffic?
I actually just have to park somewhere. I'm inside the plaza, so the office is not really conducive enough. So I just have to come into the car.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing this for us. A lot of questions. Very, very funny. But just these questions. So the first one is from Sandra. Now, the question is, how do I balance an hectic 9-to-5 job and learning graphics? And she says, please don't tell me sacrifice. I tried it and
I think I'm having issues.
And I can hear, I think the problem is from Drive Hub.
I can.
Yes, I can hear Caesar Graphics. I can hear Stanley as well.
I'll be with you shortly. I need phone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, hold on. I have to change my. Okay. This is up. Okay. So now we have the question. The question says, how do I balance? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. It says, how do I balance an hectic 9-to-5 job and learning graphics? Now she's saying that please don't say sacrifice. I tried it and kept falling ill. Because it's very funny, yeah?
Okay.
So please don't help me with that.
The Bluetooth device.
Hi, Caesar. Good evening.
Evening.
Guys, Stanley. Good evening as well.
Good evening.
Okay, so who is going to go for this question?
Because I don't know, maybe believe Stanley to start first because the sacrifice part is what I'm still thinking of. I'm thinking of another definition of sacrifice that we'll
sacrifice.
Yes,
because
there's no
I'm
way
tilting that way.
There's no way we're going to tackle this without using the word sacrifice.
So
I'm still trying to see. Anyway, let me start. Okay, so I'm not going to say sacrifice, but it's possible where I'm going to come in. So it's going to connect to the sacrifice part. Okay, so where during my session, someone asked a question similar to what this person asked, that how can it be good in graphic design, and so like how can it come up with good design process, and I told him that what you need to do is to first know the type of design that you want to go into before you learn any application. And I remember far back when I started graphic design that I discovered the type of design that I want to do. Yeah, back then it wasn't easy because I wasn't making money, and I still go to learn from someone. So, but what I do then was it wasn't easy. So what I do then was I wake up 12 o'clock in the midnight. I don't miss it, and that's why I said the sacrifice part needs to come in. So I always wake up in the middle of the night to train myself. In fact, it wasn't easy because by the time I get to my trainer's office, I always feel sleepy, but I try as much as possible not to sleep. So what the advice I'm going to give to this person is, if this is truly what you want to do, you need to fight anything that may stop you from getting it. You need to get yourself a timetable. All right, write down, check the time when you less do stuffs. Most times Sundays. All right, I know most of us I'm sure this person doesn't go to work on Sundays. So if it's only Sunday that you're going to have the time to train yourself, please do. And I'm very much sure that if you can, pay yourself this, I almost say sacrifice again. If you can do this, I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Okay, that's just my own contribution to the question.
Okay, thank you very much, Caesar. I also
You're
want to
welcome.
quickly jump in to say a few things. I will try also not to use the word sacrifice. And then I want to take it, from a lady perspective, because I guess the person that asked this question is a lady, right?
Yes, yes, she is.
Okay, good. So I also want to come from that angle. So most of us ladies, we are actually, it's just kind of like this mentality that we get to handle house chores. We have a lot of responsibilities alongside with work, 9 to 5, and then you get home. There's so much to be done, and then you still have to do designs. You still have to get some personal things that you love to do. I want to assume, I want to talk with the assumption that you love designing, as in it's a passion. So with that being said, I'm still trying not to use the word sacrifice. I want to go by the word routine. There's a lot to be done. You have to go to work 9 to 5. You may have to develop a routine, or like a kind of like, how do I call it? Yeah, a calendar that guides your day, something that gives you, okay, I've been able to achieve this, I've been able to achieve that, and there's still one more thing left undone, and you fix it in a time that you can achieve it, having achieved every other thing that you planned for the day. Like, set a timetable, have a planned day. It's really, really, it's just the way we see it, like our normal life. We get to go to work, we have a whole lot of responsibilities at home and the likes. So, but once you have a structured calendar for your day, and then you can tick the boxes of what you have achieved, what is left undone, and then you still have something that, so for me, I don't really have time for movies and all that. Once I'm free, I was still telling myself today that this animation thing, I think I'm interested. I just love design. So it's whenever I'm free, I have the opportunity, I come back, and I still find a little, even if it's 1 hour, I try to get my hands on, stuff that has to do with design and the likes. So I would say that have a routine that you try as much as possible to meet up with, regardless of, you know, every other thing. And the truth is, it will still boil down to sacrifice, because most of us, even though you create that routine, sometimes you'll be the one to break it yourself. But it's passion that would drive you, and then that sacrifice thing will still help you to meet up with it. I don't know, but that's just my little contribution.
Thank you so much, Ariola. Anything from Mr. B?
Personally, I think we can't separate that question from the word sacrifice, because two things. If you know what is driving you, no matter the stress you find yourself, one of the things that will help you manage those stress, it's based on the vision you have, that you are the targets that you are trying to hit. So there was as I think about 5 years ago, I was working with an agency, a firm, and I was heading their media department, because I was recommended to the organization, and it was the responsibility was so much. And before I started working for that company, I already have my clients that I'm servicing as a freelancer. So when that job came, I could not reject it because the offer was okay. And I still need to satisfy the clients that I was servicing before I got that job. So the stress, my brother, it was every day when I close from work, before I sleep, I make sure I try at least to meet up with some certain designs. I have to. So that thing robbed me of a lot of time for myself and sleep. Me that I like watching movies, but that period, just like in your last say, you won't have time to watch movies. But that period, it was stressful. I must confess. But what kept me through that period was the fact that there was a particular project, there was a particular goal I was trying to hit in terms of financial targets. And I calculated what I'm going to earn from the company as salary and the projected income from the clients that I'm servicing at that period of time. I look at it, I say, if I don't meet up, there was no way I'm going to meet up with that target, because it's a major project for me and my family. Then where I was preparing for my wedding. So I needed to get all the money I could gather at that period. So that was a drive, that was a goal. So what was driving me to put in that sacrifice, to put in that effort, to damn the stress that comes with the 9-to-5 job and attending to freelance and job, was the fact that I needed to raise more money for my wedding and also to change my apartment. So the goal was huge. I need to get an apartment. I need to foot some of the bills for the wedding. So I can't just ignore it. I have to pay through that process. So one major thing that will help you balance, apart from sacrifice, let there be a goal that you are trying to hit. If the goal is not tangible enough, or the goal is not commensurate with the stress that you are facing from that particular job, you have to trade one for the other. Yeah. If you cannot manage it, you just have to let go of one and focus on one. Yeah. Some of us can manage stress to some extent, while some can't. So if you cannot manage it, our advice to just focus on either on the job or the design or the other parts of it as it comes.
Thank you so
sorry,
much.
Sorry, can I just add one or two things to what Stanley and Mariola said? Okay, so Ariola's answer remind me of when we were still in secondary school, when our parents always say read, so that when you grow up you can rest. And I believe they actually say those things to us back then, so that when we get to this stage, we can, when we start facing all these working to survive, we won't even feel it. So my advice for this person is this: if you can't pay the sacrifice now, okay, I wish the person is here so he or she can hear me. If you can't pay the sacrifice now, I'll be very open to you, and I'm going to ask Stanley and Ariola one question so they can hear you, so you can hear their response to what I'm about to say. Okay, now Ariola, please, I need you to tell me, the both of you just please tell me, is it all the things you know? Are they the things you know when you started the business? I just need yes. Okay, that's the end of everything. No, I'm telling you, this most especially these white people, they keep coming up with, you need to be at the same level with them. And if you don't learning how to
more money as designers. Please help us, please.
So
Okay, so I was to make more money, which is very, I must say that I've even made much more than I was making before, funny enough. And I would say that the secret of this is value. So keep adding value. I think Caesar was saying something like that. Keep learning. Like there's always something new. Be on top of the game. So the clients I had a so I have some clients that at least we've been working for them for like 6 years now. And one of them we created his logo 2015. So he came back to us early this, like during this lockdown, that he wanted to get a logo for another his uncle, a car brand and stuff like that. They just like this car 45. So they wanted to do something like that, but not really in Nigeria, somewhere in this West African country. So we got the brief and we started and we delivered on the project. We charged him definitely times probably like six of what, and he was like, what, why is it so expensive? I said I said no, the person, like what we did for you 5 years ago is not what we are going to do for you now. And he was like, what exactly, what's the difference, what are you going to do now, this that. I said, don't worry, just so even the process of communication, everything had changed. What we requested, what we wanted to know, we gave him a questionnaire. He needed to fill it. We had a brief, meeting with him, with my team. And then when we delivered on the job, now this was not for him directly, it's more like a referral and everything, but he was the one, communicating directly with us. When we delivered, it was like, wow, now I see why you are actually more expensive now. Because what we delivered, we did the logo, we did the flyers, we did quite a number of other, creatives along with the branding. And then he was like, okay, now I get it. In fact, we added like, some other extra customer service, like communications we had with them, how to go on with some other things. They didn't even ask us. Why? Because I did some during the lockdown. I took some courses. Now the courses I've done, I can't even add them up on my LinkedIn because they'll be too much. Like, but one thing that drives me is I want to understand the standard globally. I don't want to be a local champion. I don't want to go like find myself in some circles, in some meetings, and that they're talking about some things in branding and all that, creatives and the likes, and I can't really measure up. So one thing that, regardless of what is going on in the economy, once you have value, people will exchange money for it. Now you are the one that will create that value for yourself. Nobody will help you create it. Nobody will. And the truth is, I can't just change my review prices without knowing that there's something extra I want to add. Okay, so we did a job. Okay, so if I want to do a logo and everything, and then we could just do some few pages, 10, 20. Now the latest branding we did was almost 200 pages of different things we're trying to communicate around the brand. So and now this is just a function of information and what I keep learning every day. Recently I still told myself that there is another course I want to go for in branding. So now, what is obtainable in Nigeria, in West Africa, in Zambia, where this person who asked this question is, may not be what is obtainable in Nigeria, like in terms of, the knowledge and everything. So what is the gap? I want to understand. So it's very important. I would say that add value. Once there is value, money will be exchanged for it. And it's also very important. I would, wrap it up by saying that it's it's one thing to add value. It's another thing to know how to communicate that value to your client. I mean, I think that's just where I'll
Yes.
stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That has really helped. So, Caesar, you want to go?
okay. Okay. So in addition to what Ariola said, value is very, very important. And the way things are now in this part of the world is different from the way it used to be, where you can tell one uncle that I'm into design, and then the uncle will just help you tell his friend and like that and like that. In fact, there are times where they forget. So we're in a world where it's very easy for people to locate you now. I know somebody is going like, locate me. How? Yes. There's social media, and the people that most organization want to work with them now are people who have something that they can offer, and which is what connected to what Ariola said. Most of we designers always want people to know us, but we are not ready to give them what will make them know us. And I'll break it down. And why I'm saying this, I want to break down the value that Ariola is saying, because some of them may not really understand the value she's talking about. Organizations want people who can solve their problems. In fact, let me tell you, every organization you see today where they have staffs, each staffs have parts in that organization that is going through pain, that they need that staff to fix. So if you are now looking at an organization calling you for a design job, you should know that you would have positioned yourself to that level where they trust you. So now this is where I'm going. So the adding value, I'll use the social media as an example. Most of us post designs online, but when you post your design online, what message did you put under the design? Did you just put the design and say flyer design? Or did you post a business card and say business card design? There should be a reason why you did that design. There should be a message behind that design. You may think people are not looking at what you're doing. I'm telling you, people are really looking at what you're doing. Now, how many of we designers do research on companies who post their designs online, and then we pick the design, redesign it, and tag them and tell them the reason why you think the design they did before is not successful? Most of us are not ready to do that. When we start having this mindset of solving problems for organization and not after, okay, I want to make the money, I'm telling you, you see people calling us for job. I'll use myself as an example. When I started Instagram, what I do back then was just to post my designs. Although I still post my design now, but I'm going somewhere. I post designs, and I was able to get ministries and organization through my post. But that's not where I'm looking at going into. My mission is to be a blessing to designers, where having an academy where designers who don't really understand all the basics, or the design basics, or the things that you need to put together to make a successful design, to help them. So what I'm doing now is I post designs and I give reasons, and there are times when I post points or little information on how you can grow in this field. And I'm telling you, I have a lot of people following me now because of that. So the same way I'm using this to get people, the same way you're going to use this to get organization. What are you doing now to solve their problem? And I have something here that you don't really find audience for your work. They find you. I'll repeat again. You don't find audience for your work. They are the one that will find you. So how will they find you is when they see that you carry something that they don't have. I'm telling you, if every designer can do what I'm about to say now, don't say because that company is not paying you, that why do you have to do free designs for them? And that's one other challenge I have with designers. Most designers feel that if I can sit in front of my system, I need to get paid for whatever I do on my system. If you are looking for clients, I'm telling you, you need to first put money aside. Don't even look at money. Your goal is to see how you can solve problem. Now, when you solve problem, I'm telling you, they will locate you. People will locate you. I'm telling you based on what I've experienced. So many people have referred me to different organizations today because they see what I can do. So you want clients, start thinking of solving problems, and clients will come.
Okay, so Mr. Believe, I'll come to you, but the thing is, we have a lot of questions. So what's going to happen is, I think we'll do one question per person. I think that'll be better. That will help us with time. And again, people that are listening to us, try and drop more questions while we exhaust this one. So what I'll do is I'll start from you, Mr. Believe. I'll send you, let me read out the question now. It says, I like this one. James Osuma says, what opportunity does the post-COVID world present for the creative industry? Even me myself, I've always been saying, after COVID, what next? After COVID, what next? So please, what are the opportunities you feel will come to us after this post-COVID era? Let's start from there. Then answer the question. Then I'll now ask Ariella and Caesar another question. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for that question. In fact, the whole COVID experience took a lot of us unaware, but it also exposes a lot of things that it exposes also a lot of opportunities. Before now, it looks impossible to run effective trainings online. It looks virtually impossible, probably not really effective per se. But if you check very well, we did a little study and we observed that the rate of creative designers, precisely graphic designers, during this COVID-19, during the lockdown period, increased. A lot of individuals, though amateur, came into the industry, starting with as little as smartphone graphic design applications. And I have some of my members in my community that are doing awesomely well, creating wonderful graphics with their mobile phones. In fact, there are some I also send jobs to when I don't have time. I just send it to them and they use their mobile phone to do it and they send it to me. So that was an opportunity that we never saw had COVID not happened. So the COVID exposes us to a lot of opportunities, things that we never knew would have been possible. Yeah. I, for one, I was able to put some online trainings together before most of my training were physical meetings. Most of them were physical meetings. But because of that experience, because of the COVID-19 experience where I was forced to learn some things about online trainings, I even had to do some courses. Most of the courses I do this period were basically online. And it was awesome. So I said, if I can attend courses online, why can't I organize courses, run them online and people participate? Some of my students were online students and they are doing wonderfully well today, running some jobs. So one of the things that we can learn or the post-COVID experience is to, will I say, continue from those and those opportunities that were exposed to us during the COVID-19 experience. I know some people, in fact, some institutions right now, their regular curriculum in terms of academics have been altered. Now they place more premium on online courses to a point where if you are attending, before now, if you are running a degree, a particular course in Harvard, if you don't travel out to their physical trainings as if you have not attended the school. But right now you can run your course online, get your certificate, and you can still present it anywhere as a certified student of that particular course. So that is one of the opportunities. So as creative, we also need to focus our attention in that direction. A lot of things are taking shape right now, especially within the online community. And one of the things also we're able to do, I also encourage our community members. Most businesses shifted from offline to online. A lot of businesses, they shifted from offline to online. And most of those businesses, they never took their online visual presence very seriously. A lot of them. So when the whole pandemic started, they saw the need to make their presence visible online. I did a lot of online designs, especially for Instagram adverts, social media adverts. I was able to run a lot of social media adverts for businesses that were not online savvy before, to a point where we're able to even manage some of them. Now they are doing well. They attract more customers online because of the kind of graphics that they present online. So creative can also take advantage of that. If you are making your presentations for maybe proposal for any organization or any client, make it let them see the value of their online presence. Their online presence. If you don't have social media management as part of your arm, I think we need to pay more attention to that. You can either contract it to maybe some guys that are well grounded and professional in that aspect, but have it as part of your services that you render as a creative. Because now when we are making presentations to organizations, it's a complete package, not the regular, just come up with a normal graphic design, maybe flyer or this thing. So the opportunities are enormous. It's just for us to sit down, understand it, and explore them.
Thank you so much, Billy. So now I have two very interesting questions. So one will be to Caesar and one will be to Ariella. So the one that will go to Ariella is, how do I get my target audience as a starter? So hold on before you answer. But let me ask the second one so that Caesar can get ready. Well, I think almost all of us had issues with this one. It says, I'm having issues with selecting fonts, typefaces. How do I know the suitable font for a design? So Caesar, you answer that later. So Ariella, the question is, how do I get my target audience as a starter? Let's start from there first. I know you are
Okay.
you're a very strong woman, so show us the way.
Well, thank you, Bisoye. So as a starter, it's not really going to be very easy to get your target audience, because your target audience could be organizations, maybe could be secondary schools, could be maybe majorly, the education industry. Maybe you want to focus on fintechs, it depends on. So you may not outrightly as a starter. You see, that's the word. Now, when you are just starting out, what one very important thing is that you need a portfolio. Now, your portfolio may not be in that space where, I mean, as in for your target audience, as it were. But once you have a portfolio, you put up a proposal and you now meet with your target audience that you can do this same thing for them, and you give them your, a very, very good value proposition for what you are saying you can do. I mean, you will definitely get a trial. And one thing that is, how do I put it now? Like a trick is that at some level you may have to volunteer. You may just have to volunteer. Like maybe you are targeting schools or the education industry and the likes, and then you look for a school and you volunteer to do, and you do something very beautiful. Like most of these old secondary schools, old schools like that, if you look at their branding, their logos and everything, you look at the way they come up with their logo, like very, very scary. They just mix one textbook, they'll mix it with different things. I don't know if anyone has observed it, that those old secondary schools, their logo, there's a way it goes. There was a time I was looking at it. So if you look at that now, you pick up a secondary school and you volunteer and you do something very beautiful for them, that is already a very fantastic portfolio in that industry. Let's assume that was, a target group you're trying to achieve. So you may have to start by volunteering. You may have to put up a portfolio around what you've already done for clients and, their testimonials and the value it created. One more thing that it's a bit sometimes tricky and difficult to attach metrics of evaluation to, sometimes as creatives, to what we've done. Like, what impact have this thing done? But if you can have access to, records or, back end information of your clients, how some of the things, maybe they posted the graphics you did, the likes it got on their page, and stuff like that is very, very important. It's kind of like, a social proof, like, a bragging right for you to be able to take to another client in that target group you are trying to get, and then you pitch yourself to them. It will really go a long way. So that's just that's just the way I would answer that.
Thank you so much for that, Ariella. So to the next one, Caesar.
Okay, so I wish my group members are here so they can hear my answer to this question. Okay, so the part of choosing type, I know that's one of the challenges that most of we designers face. But I want to tell you all that I want to let this person that asked this question know that typography are more like they are pictures of words. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you get what I'm trying to say.
Cool, thank you.
The type of projects you are asked to work on should determine the type of font you use. Okay. Now, there are some fonts you're not supposed to use for some type of projects. You can't use a funky type for a bank, for a bank, and you can't use a corporate type or corporate font for what's it called? Parties, like maybe let's say hip hop events or something. I'm sure you'll get what I'm trying to say. So, but when you are given a project to work on, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what is the title of this project I'm working on? Then that title is what you are now going to use to come up with, to pick the font you're going to use. Yes, I'm just going to give you some fonts that I use for some project. If I'm asked to work on an Ivy, I use serif type. If it's corporate, I use sans serif. If it's magazine, I combine serif and sans serif together. Okay, but if the magazine is something that got to do with youths, I play with fonts that have that have little playful look. But I try as much as possible not to use fonts that will be difficult for people to read, because that's very important. You need to be careful the type of font you use. It's not all the font you see on the internet that you're supposed to use on your project. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys now so you understand what I'm trying to say when it comes to using type. I don't know if I'm permitted to do that.
Yeah, just for, maybe like a minute.
Okay. No, I'm not going to waste time. I'm not going to waste time.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. Let's say a client gave you a design to work on, and the client said the title of the artwork is Float. Okay, so you don't need anybody to tell you that. Okay, so when you hear float, it means it's connected to something that got to do with balloon. So your font should be bold like this, or you get let's see if I have okay, so I can use this. So if I use this font now, so this font already look like a balloon. So how you will now make this look like the message that the client asks you to, how you now connect this to the title of the event is, of the artwork, excuse me, is to now do something like this under it. So if you do something like this, all right, if I apply a shadow to this now, so now you see now that I already described the title of the artwork with this. So your text should have a message connected to your design. There are times when you will be given a design that has to do with water. So you don't need anybody to tell you that the font you're supposed to use should have something wiggle. It should have a wiggle kind of, I wish you guys, it's as if I'm the one getting what I'm saying. So it should have okay, so it should have this wiggle, like when you throw, let's say you throw a nylon in the water. I'm sure you know that nylon will never get its real form anymore. That's the same way you're going to use the font you are supposed to use for that project. So that's how you get to pick font in graphic design. Your font should be like a picture that will connect with the title of the project you're working on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope that was helpful. Now to the next question. I really like this one. This is very lovely. It says, where do ideas come from? I'm going to believe you'll be answering this one for us. Where do ideas come from? Almost every creator is trying to look for ideas. Cannes winning awards, ideas. Laurie's winning award, ideas that will wow clients and things like that. Ideas that will bring in more money. So please help us. Musa Abdul Karim is the one asking this. Says, where do ideas come from? Thank you.
Okay, personally, ideas come from different quarters, from different scenarios. I, for one, I love watching cartoons up to this very moment. Sometimes my wife and my wife have issue with that, because you see myself and my 4-year-old daughter, we watch cartoons a lot. Not because I don't have job, but because there are some things some animations that I sit down to watch, to study their color blend, to study how they combine effects. Those things help me to think. They help me to think. So I watch a lot of 3D animations, especially DreamWorks and Universal Studios. Their animations are awesome. So I pick ideas from there. When I'm stressed out, Abuja is a very wonderful city where there are so many gardens. You can just take a stroll into one of the gardens, relax, cool your head. Ideas come from there. I discussed this particular topic in our group one or during our conversations. There are so many ways you can generate ideas, but the most important one is understand the concept of design you are to do. What kind of design are you doing? If it is specific, if it's tailored to a particular industry or sector, particular industry, as in do a whole work just to understand the kind of design I'll need to create. But on a general board, I just carry my open my Pro 11 in my mobile device. I play game. In the process of playing, I'm not just playing. I'm not focusing on that game, but my mind subconsciously, I'm brainstorming on what I'm to create for that particular design. And before I finish maybe 2-3 sets on a particular game, an idea pops up. So every one of us have our different, it's generating idea is dynamic, is different from individuals, and it's unique to our personality. So what inspires me might not be what inspires Ariola and Caesar Graphics. They are, our environment influences our idea generation, and I think my other colleagues will throw
Allow
more
me
light
say
on.
something. Allow me just say one or two things,
Okay.
because I think questions like this are what I teach people a lot. So inspiration for graphic design comes from everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the trick is what to look for and how you see it.
True.
When I noticed most of these upcoming designers, the way they get their own concept is different from the way the people who are already into it get their concept. And I'll tell you why, because I also really fought with this before I got to this level. The only time we search for inspiration is when we have a project to work on, and that's not how graphic design works. When you are in front of your TV, if people are watching action movie where watching movies. I remember there was a time we were watching John Wick, and I saw the way they, combine red and green together in the movie. And I told my friend, oh, more, these people are crazy. And she looked at me like crazy, like, I said, see the way they combine this color. She said, eh. She didn't understand what I was saying, but she was like, eh. I said, yes. Well, you can't, I know you didn't get what I'm saying. Say, yes, you didn't, but let's just continue what you do. Because, so when you are, like what Billy Stanley said, which is very, very true. When you're playing video game, inspiration comes from there. Even when you're walking on your street, inspiration comes from there. If you're watching National Geographic channel, inspiration comes from there. Even on nature, let me use flowers, roses. Check the way the color combination on those flowers, the way they are together. In fact, you can get information from, inspiration from there. So let me just stop there.
I mean, like, do you want to quickly jab in something? Just
Okay, well, to add to what they said, basically they've really touched on it. Inspiration comes from everywhere. But one thing that I will also add to it is that you must have, it's like a kind of a deliberate thing in your mind that you must have that highs, that you, as in, it's like something you develop yourself into it, that when you are seeing things, like what people are seeing is not what you see. Just like Caesar said, we are all watching a movie and you are seeing even much more. You are seeing, I've sat with some graphics and I don't know, they get to do that thing. There was a day once one of my friends visited and he was just looking at something. I was like, wow, see the way this red and this navy blue blends. Now there are different shades of colors, and a color that you never thought could actually go together. You would see the way it will blend, and then you'll be like, so you need to it's just I think it's kind of like a personal development. It's not really what maybe you can be trained somewhere. I don't know, but I feel it's something you just have to develop yourself. You have that eyes for colors, have that eyes for inspiration. Like you look at something and then you are seeing something a bit more. There was a training I went for, and an object was placed on the table, and then the next guy to me just said that, do you know what, if we turn that object upside down, can you see what it will give us? And then I'm like, I'm not seeing it. And then he turned it upside down, and then it was like a shape of something totally. It gave us another shape entirely. So, so the way creatives think is a bit more analytical and deeper, like a bit more. How do I put it? You see more. Like when people are seeing two things, probably you should be seeing five things at the same time. So I just feel it's something that you just, I don't know, help yourself to be a bit more detailed when you are looking at things. Inspiration will just keep coming for different things. I guess that's just one thing I can add
That's
to.
really good. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thanks. We are really pressed for time, but right now I have Abidemi Oguntunji. I will allow you to talk now. I think he or she has a message. So Abidemi, hello Abidemi. Abidemi, can you please unmute so that you can talk? Okay. Well, so while we wait for Abidemi, let me just ask one. We're really pressed for time. Let me ask one more question. Okay. Now this is good. Toba Subers is asking the question. He or she says that, how can you sell your skill without being downpriced? And this is a very tricky question, because we've been advised that sometimes you need to volunteer, you need to do some free jobs for at least for you to get recognized, for you to get a job out there. But at the same time, there's also a very thin line between you being downpriced and you also doing free jobs. So I need someone to help us with this. I'm not going to call anybody's name because I need somebody who has
I
been.
thought you were going to call somebody's name off. Sorry, you say what's the question again?
How can you sell your skill without being downpriced? I'm not going to call anybody's name this time around.
Be good at what you do. Be good at what you do, and don't look at money. Just keep doing good stuffs. One day you'll get a call from somebody that will pay you good money.
Wow. That's like the dopest question I've heard so far. I'm sorry, other guys, but that answer was very, very direct. That's good. I believe we're still waiting for you. We asked you to unmute. We are still waiting for you because we're really pressed for time right now.
Okay. Can I just throw a light add to what Caesar Graphic just said? I learned something from Fela Dorotoye some years back during one of his conference. I had, in fact, pricing has been one of the major issue for creatives. Even up till now, there are some clients that we dealt with or we were servicing. They knew us when we started. Now that we have gotten to a particular level, some of them will tell you, believe, I know when you start now, why will you be charging me this particular amount? But I learned two things. I will share the two similar experiences. Now, Fela told us in one of the events, he said, if you know the value of a particular thing, and you have a client that doesn't have the capacity to pay up to that value, if you can do it at the rate the client is asking you to do it, go ahead and do it. But develop a system when you are writing your invoice. Do not specify, don't put the amount you did that job for the client. Put the actual value that job is worth. Then give a discount on the statements, either invoice or receipt. Make it clear. If the job is worth 250,000 naira and you are doing it for the client at the rate of 50,000 naira, you make it clear. The value of this particular job, you write it the actual value. Then you now put discount 200,000. So the actual cost now is 50,000 naira that the client is paying. So that next time when the client have gotten to that level where he can pay 250,000 naira, he will not be paying you 50,000 naira. And if he's trying to recommend you to another person, he will not tell the person, I pay this person 50,000 naira. I pay this person, he will say this job is worth 250,000 naira. So that is one. Then number two, then the second lesson I learned from my pastor, he said something. There are people that started with you as a creative when you were just starting. You use them to build your profile and stuff like that. Especially me, for example. Those people, they are like your sacrificial, you sacrifice your life for them. So when jobs are coming from those people, as in terms of referral, the money you could not charge those guys when you were just starting, now the people that they are bringing into your space, because you have built credibility, you have built expertise, and you have built good network, you can charge the new set of people higher. You can charge the new set of clients higher. I don't know if you are getting my point. So sometimes the people that you are starting with as a starter, or people that actually know, you can just sacrifice just because you want to build portfolio, you want to build this thing. But so it's not always like that though. There are some people that will trust you enough because you are just starting. They can just blindly pay you for whatever you are charging. In fact, one of my students surprised me recently. After undergoing the training for 3 weeks, he called me 2 weeks ago that a company is trying to employ him. They are in fact negotiating to make him the head of media, and he will be in charge of recruiting more design and creative that will work under him. When I asked him how much is he charging the client, when he told me the amount, I just opened my mouth. I said, I beg, employ me now. Maybe I can join your team too. It was interesting. But when I put the guy's work, the design that gave him that job, when I put it side by side with my work, honestly, I will not even accept that work. That's funny. I will not accept the work. He brought that job to me to scrutinize. I will so scrutinize the work to a point that he will not submit that particular job for the entry. But the job scaled through. The job scaled. So sometimes it's about the value the client that is coming to you place on your work. If they are exposed, if they are learned, and if they have understanding of what you are providing, they will pay for it. So the question is, do you understand the value of what you are offering at the particular level you are? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bisoye, please, I would like to add just one more thing. I mean, Caesar and Stanley have done a lot. They've done justice to that question. But I just want to add one more thing to it, that communication is very important. To me, if you don't even know how to design very well, but the little you know how to design, you know how to communicate it, I feel you will achieve a lot and you will be able to get clients to pay you much more. One thing a lot of creative designers, I've had a lot of, a lot of them, I have that circle around me and everything. They are good, but they really don't know how to communicate their skills. They don't know how to communicate their value. Some of them, they are not even supposed to be where they are, but that ability to understand the value you are offering to your clients. Now, if you tell your client that this logo you are designing is 5,000 naira, that is the way the client will look at it. And you tell him it's just 5,000 naira. Now, another person can take the same logo you have done, another person entirely can take that same logo and communicate to another client that this logo is 500,000 naira, and give enough justification, give enough details and everything, and they will pay. And they will be so happy that they paid 500K for as in, they will be so proud. They will attach that same value. So I feel as a creative, you owe your client that responsibility to place value on your work. If you don't give them enough confidence in that work, just, I think this is something I learned a bit. I don't know how to put it. It was painful because I never knew. And the day I learned this thing, it changed everything around me. What I was doing for, like, let's say 20K, I just changed. I just told myself, you know what, this is the least I'll do is 50K, 100K. And I just started like that. And when you give me an opportunity to sit down with you for a brief, you probably would have to, okay, you know what, Madam, yeah, thank you very much. I think, and I have given you enough narratives that when you have to communicate with another team about that brand, that project, you will be so enthusiastic because of the vibes, the fire I've already put inside of you about that project. And that is, I think that thin line is just communication. How do you communicate your portfolio, your work to clients? How do you even present it in the first place? And are you confident about yourself? And also all those things boils down into it will impact on that communication thing actually. So I feel it's very very important that communication part is sorted. If I have to start a training, I will start from communication. If you are not ready to learn how to communicate your brand, communicate your
The end of it is always negative words. It's the time for you to say something positive and avoid the type of people you sit with. Don't sit with people who think words of pity. Don't sit with people who think things are not going to work. Sit with people who say words of encouragement. People who believe that no matter what comes around, what they go through, they will succeed. So, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna say.
So much. Now, Ariella, please.
Yeah, I would just say that have a goal at every point in time in your life. Have a goal, like deliberately. I don't know, but have something that drives you. Like this, the theme of this conference, I love it so much. Drive. Have a drive every time. And the truth is, when the odds come, like Caesar said, you have that enough energy to overcome. But let something drive you every time in design. Like set a target for yourself and look forward to achieving it. And don't come to a point where you feel you've achieved it all. Always have something next you want to achieve. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Ariella. Believe, last words.
Um, if there's any word I would like to pass across is nobody despises a relevant object. That's the words of my pastor, and that has always kept me. We talked about value. We've said a lot, but once you keep your relevance, once you are relevant to a particular system, once you are relevant to a particular client, they will keep coming. I have a particular client that I've been serving for the past 10 years. They are one of my major clients. It's not because I am the best designer. It's not because of anything. We've had issues, as in crazy issues. But if there's anything that I've been keeping that client, is because of the value that I give them, the value that we create. Sometimes it's very inconvenient, but we'll still go as far as go out of our ways to satisfy them. So just be relevant to the people that are within your space, within your target audience. Just be relevant. Any tool you can find. I always tell people, whatever you can find, just make sure your value, you are communicating value, you are giving out value. You might not be making so much now. You might not be making the kind of money you expect now. But in the long run, people that cannot pay you 100,000 naira now, maybe they can only afford 1,000 naira. In the long run, they'll be calling you for a job worth 6 figures, and you'll be the one smiling. So just be relevant, stay positive, and just like Ariola said, have something that is driving you. Let something be in front of you that is driving you. If you hit that one, go for the next one. If you hit that goal, look for something bigger, because you cannot, there is no way your vision, you cannot be bigger than your vision. You cannot be bigger. Your vision will always be bigger than you. If you are bigger than your vision, then that's the end of existence. So let your vision be bigger than you. My vision is very big. Up to today, I saw until I hit it, I'm not going to stop, because I'm looking at, let's not just have a goal, a vision that is driving you crazy. And I believe in the long run, before your time elapses on this earth, you are going to achieve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those lovely words. We are so sorry for taking extra 13 minutes from your time, but tomorrow is going to be the future of work. That's the tech session, and it's going to be a wonderful one. But once again, I want to thank everybody for participating in this session. I want to thank Caesar Graphics. I want to thank Ariola. I want to thank Believe. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for blessing us. The comments are coming in and they're like, this is an eye-opening session. This is very insightful. I think this is really powerful, even for me as an individual. So tomorrow is going to be 2 o'clock for the future of work. That's the tech part of this. This is creative, but tomorrow we're starting the tech part of it. 2 o'clock, guys. Log in and let's have fun once again. So Microsoft. Sorry, what was this? Microsoft. Oh, yeah, sorry. The person coming tomorrow for the future of work is from Microsoft Nigeria. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun. And guys, come in prepared. Come in with your notepad, please. Once again, I want to say thank you for joining us in this session. It's been an awesome event. It's really, really lovely for having lovely people to come and train us and give us words of knowledge. And then from here now, I say, from the studio, I say, cheers, guys. See you guys tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Stanley. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. And thank you for the opportunity you gave me this today again to